What is up, you guys? Coach Johnny here, and I had an internal realization moment that I think you all need to have as well. Now, this internal realization is something that will absolutely change how you look at everything. Everything. I guarantee it. And the really cool thing is, once you look at things a little different, shift your perspective, your actions and your decisions start to change too. So if you find yourself wanting to get more out of life, wanting to be more productive, just wanting the results that you really want, this is actually going to really help you. So, the realization that I came across is first, fitness is great. Love it. Love fitness. I love being healthy, but it's not all of who I am. And I feel like a lot of the times it can seem as though like it's one dimensional, but there's multiple dimensions within it. And I'm going to explain to you right now. So, fitness is one aspect of, like, let's say this is your entire being, and there's more than just like five things, but you have your physical health, you have your mental health, you have your emotional health, you have your spiritual health, and you have your mental health. Physical health is just here. You have all these other aspects, and you could, and there are people who are focusing on just one, right? They just want to focus on mental health, they just want to focus on their emotional health, they just want to focus on their spiritual health, they just want to focus on their financial health. I am projecting the physical health because I feel like it's the first level. I feel like once you can gather this and have it under grasp, everything else kind of comes in place. Now, here's what I mean. When you realize that you have 24 hours in a day, a lot of people say they don't have enough time. You have 24 hours in a day, right? And 8 hours of that day is you asleep. So you really have like 16 to 18 hours a day to do what needs to get done, depending on how much sleep you get, this, that, and the third. But what happens is we often are in a loop of just lifing, got to pay bills, got to go to work. And we don't realize that we're spending 8, 9, sometimes 10, sometimes 12 hours a day working, usually for someone else. And ideally, hopefully, you're getting compensated well for it to make it worth it. However, the financial health is only one aspect, and most of us are spending over 60, 70% of our time in pursuit of this, and still, we know what the statistics are. Most people are not financially where they want to be. So, we're spending too much time here, right? The physical health, I feel like, is great because it's what, 30 minutes if you have no time, an hour and a half, 2 hours if you're really like taking your time and getting after it. And then you still have the rest of the day to do what you need to do. But then there's these other aspects. So you have your physical health, you have your work, financial health, obviously, hopefully you're saving, whatever, making good decisions, investments. You still have your mental, you still have your emotional, you still have your spiritual. So where does that stand in the overall, you know, time pie of your life if so much time is spent at work, so much time is spent physical? We go home, we watch TV, order some food, go to sleep, and then we do the whole thing again. And then on weekends, we try to have some fun, which might be like the emotional health. And I feel like that's not really balanced. And what I realized a while back, and what I'm realizing, is that we are supposed to spend most of our attention and focus and energy on ourselves in hopes of becoming better and having a positive impact for those around us. Let's bring it home. You have your family, you have your loved ones, your friends, right? You want them to have the best life. You also want to be there for them. So you need to be physically healthy to get out the door and move around and maybe play with your kids or go to the game or whatever it is, have fun with your lady. And you need to be financially healthy because we live in America. I live in New York. Shit's expensive. You got to pay to get around more times than not. So we do want to have the financial health. We do want to have the physical health. But what about the spiritual health? What about the mental health? What about the emotional health? These other aspects are just as important as anything else. And we need to find a way to do all of it on a daily basis, ideally, or at least on a more consistent basis, because I know, because after coaching for over 10 years, speaking to hundreds of men, having helped over 300 men do this, I realized that it's a matter of balancing out the time, balancing it all out. And that's the challenge that most people are facing. So It's not so much that you don't have the time, it's that you're not managing it properly. And the big thing is really being able to pause and like look at your schedule. I was going to show you my calendar. Like I map out my day and I'm actually tracking my day now by 30-minute intervals. If you want the same timesheet, I can send it to you because you might be surprised at what you actually spend your time on. Because I always believe the first step is awareness. You can say whatever you want, but if you're not aware of what's actually happening, you're just like spinning in a circle with one paddle in the same direction. You're not getting anywhere. So my big thing that I want you to take away from this video is to pause and really like look at what you're doing. Have a third person perspective of awareness. Just look at it objectively. What am I doing with my time? Is it making me better in these 5 ways? And what can I do to improve it? So bringing it all full circle, as I was saying before about physical health being great and all, but I'm very much so passionate about every aspect of health. Like I know that I'm a physically healthy, financially healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, mentally healthy individual because I've spent time investing into those things. I've gotten coaches for all of those things. And this is me not just saying as a coach, but I believe in coaching because a coach will be able to look at what you're doing and objectively be like, oh, I've seen this before, try this. Or I know this happens often with men in your circumstance. Here's what fixes it. And we can try to do everything ourselves, which try, go for it. Maybe you'll figure it out. But if you find yourself struggling with something for more than a few weeks, get a coach. It doesn't, because my biggest thing is if the big thing that we have is time, our number one resource is time, right? We need to spend it wisely by getting to what we want sooner than later so that we can enjoy it for longer than less. It's the same thing with like when people work for years, they retire and they're unhealthy. And now you have the rest of your life being unhealthy. It's supposed to be your golden years, but it ends up just being just as bad as anything else because you didn't spend the time investing in yourself. So I'm gonna make this video short. I have a client call in like a minute. So take the time to slow down. And if you want my spreadsheet for keeping track of time, comment time down below. And then I'll also send you another resource that will really help you make anything that you want of these 5 things closer to being exactly how you want it. Till next time, let's raise the bar.